Everybody's going on about the new Superman teaser trailer. I was going to approach it from a writer's perspective a little bit and talk about some of the things that I've seen in the trailer itself as to writing, and some things that I'm a little concerned about, and some things that actually occurred to me recently that I've alleviated some of those concerns. One of the first things I noticed is the sheer amount of characters. We got Superman, we got Krypto, we got Hawk Girl, we got all these other characters in the background as well, and side characters, and each one of these characters are going to need to be introduced. They're going to need to be getting started, get the forward momentum going, introduction, action, the initiating action, all of those things happening for each one of these characters, right? So you're going to run into the problem of it almost being like a Batman v Superman situation. And that was what I was nervous about first, because Batman v Superman, as you know, it's basically 3 plot lines crammed into one movie. And so it muddled the whole thing down and made it a slog to get through. That was a major problem with Batman v Superman. Not only did they have to introduce this version of Superman, they had to introduce this version of Batman, they had to introduce Lex Luthor, they had to show each one of their motivations and why they're doing this. Here they're going to have to introduce Hawk Girl, they're going to have to introduce Guy Gear, I think the character's name is. Correct me, I'm horrible at comic book characters. They're going to have to introduce Krypto even, and Superman. So that's a lot to get through. But if you remember James Gunn's first big splash on the superhero scene, he had to introduce Rocket Raccoon, Groot, Star-Lord, had to introduce all these other characters. And he did it very, very well. So that kind of alleviates those fears a little bit, because there is a way to do an ensemble storyline. And that's what this teaser trailer leads me to believe, is that this is more of an ensemble story. It's not just about Superman. He's the main character, but he's not the character. Just like in the first Guardians of the Galaxy, Star-Lord was the main character, but he wasn't the character. He had all these other people around him. Each one of them had their own personality. Each one of them had their own motivations and characteristics. So if James Gunn's able to bring that energy to this, then we get to what I think DC is really trying to accelerate towards, which is a Justice League. They want to jumpstart that whole storyline. They want Justice League. They want that Avengers-style box office money. And they feel that this might be the way to get there. Now, in my personal opinion, you start slow, you start simple. That's what Marvel did. Phases 1 and 2 was very slow, very simple. We got Iron Man. We got Iron Man again. We got Thor. We got all these other characters. Low and slow was introduced. And then we got the Avengers. It built. It wasn't just, here's everybody, here's the problem. And when you throw everything at once at the readers of the audience, you get the problem of the readers of the audience going, what? And as I've said before, if you've confused them, you've lost them. Because that suspension of disbelief is going to go. They're going to think, why did they do that? What in the world is going on this screen? That doesn't make sense. And then they're gone. You've lost your entire audience at that moment in time. So you got to be careful of that. And I hope, and I know James Gunn, I've obviously been doing this, making movies a lot longer than I have. So I know he's got to be aware of it. And so hopefully we'll get a good movie out of this. But that's just my opinion. What do you think?